بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين، والصلاة والسلام على سيدنا مولانا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه وأزواجه وذريته أجمعين، ولعنة الله على أعدائهم أجمعين. اللهم ربنا أرنا الحق حقا وارزقنا اتباعه، وأرنا الباطل باطلا وارزقنا اجتنابه. اللهم أرنا حقائق الأشياء كما هي. صلى الله وسلم على سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وأصحابه وأزواجه وذريته أجمعين. We are going to reflect a bit about the nature of capitalist state and the nature of state as such as well. So what is a capitalist state? One way of looking at it is it is an ensemble of relationship. It's a collection of relationships, like a society. In that sense, state resembles society, or it's an aspect of society. We see, but now here it's defining or state through its function. One of its main function. What is the main function of state? Capitalist state? To reproduce. Produce and reproduce a particular social order. A particular social order. That is a capitalist social order. Or a social order which is congenial to a capitalist social order or capitalist way of life. And how it does it? By enforcing collectively binding decisions. That's one way, one important thing. It makes decisions about social policy, economic policy, educational policy, collective decisions. Decisions which are applicable to collectivity. And the purpose of those decisions is those decisions are on the basis of a particular conception of a general will, a particular rationality, so to speak. Let's stop here and look at what we have just read a bit more, in a bit more detail, and if possible a bit more, at a bit more deeper level. So we have a capitalist state, trying to see what it is. So a capitalist state. So a state itself, like society, is a set of relationships. So it consists of individuals and their interactions, and their relationship as a whole. So when we view a set of relationships, individuals and their interactions and their relationship as a whole, Those relationships have two aspects, or at least we can look at them from two angles. Looking them from one angle, we get a state, and looking at them from another angle, we get a society. And capitalist state would be a specific type of set of relationship. So in terms of it being it consisted of it, or in terms of consisted of individual and their interaction and their relationships, and taking them as a whole rather than individually, it resembles other states. But what distinguishes it from other states is, for example, its function. And one of its key function is, or probably the better word is, the end, goal, or telos. Production and reproduction of a particular type of a social order, a particular type of society. And obviously, to produce and reproduce a particular type of society, you will need a particular type, production and reproduction of a particular type of individuality as well. So production of social order, production and reproduction of social order is the function of any state, at least any state worthy of name. And what differentiates a capitalist state from other states is that it seeks to, or it aims to produce a particular type of social order, which is the capitalist social order. Okay. And now the question is how it does it. So capitalist state, production and reproduction of particular social order, a particular social order, and how it does it. And the answer is through enforcing. So force is very important. And force is obviously can be binding and non-binding. So coercion is important. And ultimately, for legitimacy of any state, that coercion should be seen as legitimate. However, you don't like being forced to do something, this coercion should have some legitimacy at the social level. And to create and maintain and sustain that legitimacy also is part of the function of capitalist state. So it creates, produces and reproduces a particular social order through enforcing collectively binding decisions. Okay, so that's very important. Its ability to enforce collectively binding decisions for production and reproduction of a particular capitalist social order. And what are the instruments for that? I think law, different types of laws, and policy. These are two key instruments which come to mind. And policy, social policy, economic policy is very important. Educational policy is very important. Health policy will come in social policy, but and through mobilization of society for different ends or different goals, especially at the time of the formation of a particular type of society. So revolution, and then state comes into being, and then there's a lot of mobilization going on through campaigns, social campaigns, with the help of the state apparatus, state administration, but also through non-governmental organizations, etc. So that's the instrument. So to go back, capitalist state is a set of relationships individuals and their interactions taken as a whole, whose particular function is production and reproduction of a particular type of social order, a way of life, a civilization. And the instrument for doing these instruments in or modus operandi enforcing for collectively binding decisions. Okay, collectively binding decision on a society, and collectively binding decisions are first through laws, crafting laws, and then enforcing them. Policy, different type of policy, and implementing them. And the ultimate goal for doing this or the basis for doing this is a particular conception of general will. That is a particular conception of rationality. What is good, what is bad, etc. And it is on the basis of this rationality that you make laws and you make policies and implement them. And that particular conception of rationality is basically that human beings are free or should be free from natural and social constraints. That's the negative. And should be free to fulfill their desires, whatever those desires, as long as they don't conflict with the similar desire of other individuals. And this involves building a capitalist system whose primary purpose is accumulation for the sake of accumulation. So natural and social constraints on our desires are overcome through overcoming scarcity. The scarcity is that our desires are unlimited or undetermined and the resources are limited. So overcoming those resources. This particular type of rationality at a general level should be inculcated and enforced on a society to create a social order in which this is considered natural. So that's the purpose of a capitalist state. Okay. I think this is enough, but we'll continue these short reflections. Inshallah. Subhanakallah wa bihamdika nashhadu an la ilaha illa anta nastaghfiruka